Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another second stimulus check and second stimulus package unemployment benefits extension update. And welcome to the brand new week and almost the beginning of the next month. Hopefully everyone had a relatively safe, okay, warm, happy Thanksgiving. And also wanted to say thank you guys so much for anyone that dropped birthday wishes, because as you guys probably know is that, this weekend, my birthday was also the same exact day as Thanksgiving. So thank you to everyone for that. This probably was a very, very different Thanksgiving. And I know that, it's a very, very particular one of a kind, and I would even just say a particular year for just holiday celebrations in general. But I think the big thing is that, I've said this kind of before, but it is important, is that we've already survived 11 months. Many people did not make it to see these 11 months, and I think that as sad as it is, what has, been happening so far, what happened has basically already happened. And I think the best thing that we can try to do at this point is really to just look forward and at least just know that, again, there are millions of people, so at least we have people to hopefully kind of relate to in this, in what we're basically going through right now, everything that's been happening this year. But in today's update, I basically want to give you guys a brand new update about what's going on in the world of stimulus checks and unemployment. But even more specifically, I want to give you guys a little bit of an overview and breakdown about all of the very, very important dates about what you have to know. Some of this stuff is relatively new. Some of this stuff has been going on, but is a little bit more under the radar. So to kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview about what to prepare for as we transition into the next month, and maybe to kind of somewhat gauge about when we should maybe hopefully expect stimulus checks or stimulus package, to at least have the general idea about what to really be able to look forward to as we go into next month, which, as crazy as it is to think, is now going to be the final month of this crazy historical year that we've been going through. So we're going to get started right to it, but before we begin, make sure you smash the like button if you can, because it does help to support this channel. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification button for future updates on stimulus checks, unemployment. I did also make a couple videos already, which I'll put at the very, very end of this video, so you guys can check out, that has all sorts of information about some programs that have actually already been approved on a very, very local, low-key, under the radar level, as well as all sorts of different things like explaining the unemployment, ways to extend, and all sorts of different things. And also put it down in the description, and feel free to comment any questions, thoughts, or if you wanted to say hello. Always great to say hi or hear from who's basically still out there. So with that being said, let's get this video started now. So the relatively bright news is that as of today, Congress is now officially back. As we recently know, is that they did go and leave on vacation for the last 1 week, which, again, what happened has basically happened. But they are now basically officially back, and they will be back. Now, the more neutral news is that they will be back for another 3 weeks, because after these 3 weeks, they will now be on vacation again, only now they're going to be on vacation for Christmas break, and that's going to be basically for the rest of this year. So if the stimulus package was to finally approved and pass by the end of this year, which a lot of people are basically preaching for right now. I believe they said somewhere on the news that about something like over 125 economists are currently really, really fighting and preaching for it. There are many politicians that are now fighting. I believe AOC, Obama, I think a lot of them are trying to preach to get some kind of stimulus done before the end of the year. Even more true with all of these lockdowns that are currently happening. They're trying to hopefully try to approve something. At this point, even if it has to be a very, very small package, I think a lot of people just feel that at least having something is better than an empty hand at this point. And I also know this, that next year they also do plan to try to approve, maybe even if they have to approve something that's smaller, they do hopefully try to want to approve something even larger later on when Biden takes office. At this current time, really the only people that are still having a little bit of a conflict in terms of the stimulus package and approval is really, and as sadly as it is to think, is really about the main central negotiating team, which is basically between Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. Is that basically the thing is that they were very, very close to coming into some kind of compromise, but then apparently after the elections, I think because of some political thing that kind of ended up happening, Pelosi ended up raising the offer, and then I think McConnell ended up actually lowering it, and now he's trying to preach to do a stimulus bill. They are working harder than they worked before the election to try to get a stimulus package in terms of effort. However, in terms of actual numbers, they've actually kind of started to actually spread a little bit wider again. So that is really something to note. Now, maybe one important day to note that's actually coming up even sooner is actually the government shutdown. Now, the government shutdown, I believe, is actually in the end of the next 2 weeks. So we literally have 2 weeks until the government shutdown happens. I believe the exact date is December 11th, 2020. So the idea is that if the government wants to keep surviving and still continue going, the good news to the fact that it's happening is I think that it's going to add even more urgency to hopefully try to pass something not just for the government funding, but actually also for stimulus packages in general. And there's also a lot of belief right now that if they're going to pass something for government funding, they can hopefully try to pass something for stimulus packages for all of us together in a giant bundle. Now, the more like lesser good news, depending on how you look at it, is that because of the government funding that's about to end, it also does mean that there is a chance that they also have a little bit less time to focus on the actual stimulus package. They still will, so that's the really, really great news. But nonetheless, it doesn't change the fact is that the more things that you have to do ahead of you, the less time you can dedicate to each of those individual things. So it kind of really goes both ways right now. There's probably enough reason to think that a stimulus, something, even if it's a small package, can hopefully come maybe right around the government shutdown in 2 weeks or so. But there's also reason to think that that may also lead to distraction. And maybe feel free to comment down your thoughts if you think that they're going to be able to hopefully try to pass some kind of stimulus package by the end of this like 2 weeks before the shutdown, or maybe just slightly after the government shutdown. But if a stimulus package was to approve by the end of this year, it's basically going to have to come within the next 3 weeks, because that's literally how many weeks they're still going to be in session until, as crazy as the thing is to think, Christmas. But I think even more, one of the even more bigger dates that's supposed to happen that many people already know about, but I don't think every single person knows about the actual details of what's happening that date, but it's going to be December 31st. Now, December 31st, this is when a lot of things are going to happen. First is that the PUA unemployment is going to end. So there's going to be, I think, estimated about 14 million people that are about to lose unemployment in its entirety, basically. The other big programs that are about to end is also the eviction ban. That means that there's going to be a lot of people that are potentially going to be losing their homes soon. Student loans forbearance is about to end. And I think another big thing also is that there's a lot of companies that are trying to just make it through Q4. And that's when a lot of companies are basically going to start to really make their transition and potentially even close now, which is going to lead to even more higher rates of unemployment. Another big thing is also that at the very, very end of this year, a lot of states have a lot of money actually right on the side that they're trying to use right now from the CARES Act. They're actually trying to put together their own stimulus, like local stimulus package, some for their own state, some for their own county. A lot of these funds that they have, they expire at the end of this year also, at the very, very end of December. So if they don't come up with their own stimulus package, then all of this money basically gets tossed. It basically, not tossed, but it basically gets returned to the feds. So it would actually be in every single person's best interest to kind of use it. So the likelihood is this is also another great news, because it does mean is that there's going to be a push to hopefully try to pass something, even if it's on the federal level, even if it's on like a very, very local city level, so just for specific cities or specific states or even specific counties by the end of this year. And some states actually have already approved their own thing. Like one state that we've kind of mentioned, and I'll also put it at the very end as well, and also in the description, is New Mexico, which has officially approved their own stimulus package. And I talk a lot more about that. But the fact that one state has officially approved it, and actually also a couple other states have approved their own thing, like I think Georgia is trying to cover rental assistance, does mean that there is positive signs and relative hope that something can come by the end of this year. But that's really what I want to basically cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys have a little bit of an overview. I do promise in future updates I'll talk a lot more now about like very specific, and we already did we already talked a lot more, but we'll talk even more as we get more news about specific programs into all sorts of things that are going on different states. So definitely smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already for future updates on that. And I'll also put a couple videos there so you guys can see what's already been approved. But I wanted to basically give you guys at least an overview to kind of have the big picture of what to look forward to next and the following month. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to comment any questions, thoughts. If you guys wanted to say hello or anything like that, great to always hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching.